Viacom has recently fired
Uh-oh.
VH1's Wildin' Out Nick Cannon. Yeah, here we go. This all y'all. For anti-Semitic comments he made on a recent episode of his podcast, Cannon's Class, where he recently sat down with Professor Griff of Public Enemy. Griff explained why he was fired for what was perceived as anti-Semitic remarks once upon a time. Blacks are the original Semites, children of Israel, original people. Europeans pillaged and plundered, raped and robbed. Lack of melanin and genetic inferiority made you barbaric and savage to survive. You took control of everyone around you by breaking up families, feeding us bad food, displacing us all over the continent, emasculating men, the creation of white supremacy. So this is basically, in short, what was all discussed on the show. And he actually joked in closing. He joked at the end about about people telling him to be careful because the powers that be are coming for him. And no sooner than that show wrapped, about 2 weeks later, he was fired. Now there has been some recent updates. He has not been fired from Fox's The Masked Singer, and since then he pretty much, I can't even say he issued an apology. He just completely retracted and issued a statement saying that he's wrong and he needs to be educated, and he apologizes and yada yada.
He's uninformed and naive.
And he's uninformed, and basically anyone who believes that, he didn't mean to, he's apologizing for being another conspiracy theorist and he's wrong. And how you gentlemen feel about that?
Bitch ass nigga. No, listen. I mean, Nick Cannon is like, Nick Cannon was the safe black dude for a long time. He was the Nickelodeon. He was, and everyone we called him corny. He was like a corny dude, like kind of corny, always tried to be cool, the coolest dude in the room. Even with Wildin' Out, he was the coolest dude in the room. He had the best sneakers. I never knew what Nick Cannon was. I never knew what his focus was. He would be a singer, then he'd be a rapper, then he tried to do stand-up comedy. I'm like, what the fuck does he do? Awesome business guy. Like his business shit, no joke. He knows how to create shit, knows how to get his money, but he's not versed in he's not versed in Black Power shit. He's not well versed in that because he just put on a turban a few years ago. Remember? He put the turban on and got militant, but he's not well versed at that yet to be, because there's a lot of stuff you can say and he's not the person to be saying it. You know what I mean? That's what I think. I think I mean, before when they told him to apologize, he said, nah, fuck that. I ain't apologize. Then he went and apologized.
Yes, he did not. Originally, that was the cause for his termination because he would not apologize. And then, I don't know, somewhere between VH1 and Fox, I guess he had a change of heart.
I wonder what happened. But yeah, listen, man, we're in this entertainment business, and when we say shit, it's like Cop Killer with Ice-T. It's like Ice Cube said, fuck the police. They was mad at that. I mean, but Ice Cube was coming from a point of like, no, this shit is real, and I know this shit. This is what I know. That's why that song was so good. Ice-T was coming from a perspective of, I know this kind of shit, this shit I deal with the cop. To me, with Nick Cannon, I just don't think he's that well versed in that kind of talk. You know what I mean? That's all I'm saying. I mean, there's some things he said.
He sound pretty versed. He sound pretty versed on the podcast. He just got, scared or something. I
saw a post from Dr. Boyce Watkins, who was basically saying something to the effect of, listen, if you're not ready, to live that life of the unapologetic black man, then, don't even try to go down that road. Like, if you're not really if that's not your constitution, if you're not ready for that, you know what I mean? Especially if you all these motherfuckers are the one that butter your bread. You know, first of all, I didn't see a lot any lies into what he said. I think maybe he may have said it harshly in certain ways by using words like savage and barbaric, and you know, those are the type of words that people didn't want to hear. But as he was trying to describe, you know, things that Dr. Frances Cress Welsing touches on in the ISIS papers, where she speaks on white genetic survival and their reasoning for a lot of the oppression that they inflicted around the world. And this is not anything that's anti-Semitic or anything like that. These are things that actually happened, and these are trying to look at the psychological reasoning behind it. I just feel like his examples might have been a little harsh for especially him, the media, the medium he was on, and finally to be sitting across from Professor Griff and saying this, okay, only made things worse. It only made it seem like, you know, they were throwing salt in the wounds or some shit, because we know what already happened to Griff. And so, of course, they were going to sit there looking at this interview, want to see, they were thinking Griff was going to say something maybe.
No, he talked.
You were the one that said something. They were like, holy shit. Like, that's our boy. Like, we're going to have to do something about this. Here's the thing. You know, I don't like, if you want to apologize, that's on you. I just don't really like the language of uninformed and naive. I didn't like how he tried to almost discredit everything he said, basically. So now if someone else is to point out certain things that oppressors have done, no matter what background they come from, you know, we're going to act like all of that information is just some
crazy conspiracy theory.
Crazy conspiracy theory, because that's what fucking Nick copped out to. When that's some bullshit. He was, just like you said, he sounded very informed. He didn't sound uninformed. He sounded a little too informed.
Exactly.
And sometimes when you first get knowledge, okay, and you get overwhelmed with this knowledge sometimes, and this shit bubbles out of you sometimes, and you don't know when to, you know what I mean?
That's what I meant. Like, he's not, as far as having that knowledge, how do you say it?
5% Nation, we call that newborn energy. See, when you first become a newborn in this, you know what I mean? You got that newborn energy. You ready to go out there and just, you know what I mean? You want to just tell
shake the whole world up.
Yeah, the black man is gone. You don't know the black. You know what I mean? Like.
Right.
But you might actually lose certain people because your tactics might be too aggressive or some shit. You know what I mean?
Is that why all my friends tell me I sound like you? Oh God, you've been hanging around Lord Jamar. I'm like, really? I stay arguing with him. I stay arguing with him, but now I'm arguing with them.
Right.
Your points.
So that's the part of it that I didn't agree with. Now you, Diggum, you know, brought the thing to my attention that maybe he had to apologize, because he does have a lot of people that he's responsible for, as far as on a payroll and all that.
Yeah, like originally I was trying to, look at it objectively, like, okay, we know Nick Cannon clearly has fuck you Viacom money, but I guess in all fairness to, you know, the other black talent that he employs, like maybe he just looked at everything in totality and said, you know what, I don't want to fuck up the bag for everybody.
But at the same time,
the same time,
he's like, yo, come on over to Revolt or whatever the case may be. Like, I don't know if we should be giving out, like when motherfuckers go out on us, man, like, should we be giving them these passes?
But at the same time, I wish he could have issued that apology with, you know, with, like, if you had to issue that apology, issue it with enough backbone to not make it seem like you were just a bumbling idiot. Like, no, you didn't sound like a bumbling idiot at all. That is the history of white supremacy, however ugly it is. Y'all want to wash it away, but
uncomfortable it is.
It like, just own it and make it right. Like, you have, guess what? You have time to make it right. Like, you can make it right now.
He said that he's since been educated. I really want to know, what was this education that you received? What is this new information that you received that made you feel that you were uninformed and naive? I'm just curious.
He said he spoke with some rabbis.
I know. So what?
Now, that's a conversation. That's actually a conversation.
He didn't say. He said he's being educated. But what is the education? I want to know what they said to him.
I would be curious. You know what?
No.
I would be curious to see that conversation on the podcast. Like, how, like, you sit down with the rabbi and let them explain to you, like, and if you were to rehash that whole conversation, I would be curious to see them explain to you how you're wrong.
Because let's say, like, if you're saying that you're not from the Caucasus Mountains, then why do you call yourself Caucasus Asians? You see what I'm saying? That's what Caucasians are. Caucasus Asians from the Caucasus Mountains. So is that part of the story not true? Like, what part do you need to be re-educated on of why? I'm pretty sure ended up being so warlike. Like, please, I just want to know. Like,
I'm gonna tell you I'll tell you what the biggest problem they probably had with it. The fact that it was reiterated that Black people are the original inhabitants of this earth. The
original Israelites.
The fact that they spoke in depth about Black people being original Israelites is what struck a chord, and what was the quote unquote conspiracy theory part for them. And my thing is, if you know history and you know everything, you know, I guess evolved from Africa, whether you believe that or not is, you know, is another matter. But for the most part, we can all pretty much agree that Black people are the original inhabitants of Earth. So if you believe Jesus was Black, if you believe Adam and Eve was Black, if you believe everyone in the Bible and every other religious doctrine and scroll is Black, what is so hard to believe that there were Blacks in Israel? So I don't know why that, you know, burns y'all, you know, grinds y'all gears to hear so much. But yeah, I would love to see, I would really love to see a rabbi sit down in front of a Black person, like you know, like that conversation he had with Griff, and explain that away. I want to hear it.
Yeah, I want to hear it too.
Well, we'll just, you know, I guess we'll just wait to see. I guess at some point, I'm pretty sure he'll still continue to do his podcast, and we'll just, you know, we'll just wait and see any further developments from that.